Are you interested, WL, on learning about this? Because I really wanted to learn about this, but I'm not fucking with that video. If you want me to go yell about soy boys, type of 2. If you want me to watch this, type of 1. Because I am actually genuinely curious. We can speed it up.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Cold Fusion. What do you think is the probability of a multi-billionaire losing his entire fortune in a single weekend? Most people would likely say that it's close to impossible, and yet, this is exactly what happened to 30-year-old Sam Bankman-Fried, the CEO of FTX, the second largest crypto exchange in the world. He was the golden boy on the cover of Fortune and Forbes magazine. He had a net worth of $26 billion, watched the Super Bowl with NBA star Steph Curry, had dinner with Sia, Jeff Bezos, and Leonardo DiCaprio. Big names like BlackRock and SoftBank invested in his vision. But behind the facade was something completely different. Sam's empire was actually a bunch of 10 romantically involved crypto kids running a shady operation out of the Bahamas. The fall of FTX triggered the collapse of more than 100 affiliated companies and wiped out countless savings. This story has strange but very real ties to American politics, the war in Ukraine, and Enron. It has the intensity of Theranos.
There we go, now they're really talking.
But with a collapse as rapid as Lehman Brothers. This is the wild story of the fall of FTX.
You are watching Cold Fusion TV.
Person said, how have you not seen this? This shit is legit your job. Yeah, I'm watching it right now. I want to figure this shit out, bro. I don't cheat my reactions. Yo, big 50 in the chat. W Nico Lemke. Waggots, love your streams. How do I jump on a call with you? I developed a software that mass uploads TikToks on unlimited TikTok accounts. Talk to me in the creativity kit. That's the best way. Friday, 4 p.m. we have another call. It's $50. It's $50 to join the creativity kit. Get in there. Type in the VC right now and message one of like the high level people in the creativity kit. I'll remember that. If you have a software that mass uploads TikToks on unlimited TikTok accounts, then perfect, dope. And thanks for the 10. Tate said, any rich person who doesn't indulge and enjoy their money by buying cars and real estate and trips around the world are always shady as fuck. Look at this guy Zuck. They just be moving funny. Well, and since he said that, he's converted to Islam, which is against that type of lifestyle.
Sam Bankman.
But I agree. This guy, if you look like Ethan Decline, I just don't trust you. That is true. If you're a billionaire, you got zero drip. If you look like you make soy boy videos, if you look like you stream gaming on Twitch and talk about toxic masculinity and you're a billionaire, you got skeletons in your closet. I'm just telling you, man. He looks exactly like Ethan Decline.
Fried, with his moppy hair and unsuspecting look, is at the center of this story. He was born in 1992 in California to an academic and politically connected family.
This video's better.
His mother, Barbara, is a lawyer and the co-founder of multiple Democratic fundraising organizations. Sam's father, Joseph, was a law professor and would later help his son raise funds for his company. In 2014, Sam would graduate from MIT and would go on to work at the New York trading firm, Jane Street Capital. There, he realized that he could make untold amounts of money trading cryptocurrency. He discovered a loophole where he could buy Bitcoin cheaper in America and sell it for a higher price in Japan. Sometimes he would shift up to $25 million a day. In 2017, he would use the money from these trades to start his own company, Alameda Research. Alameda Research was made up mostly of Sam's MIT college friends and former work colleagues. This firm would later be a key player in the collapse. Sam supposedly believed in effective altruism, which he described as, quote, trying to figure out what practical things you can do with your life to have as much positive impact as you can on the world. He would make an impact on the world, all right, but it was by no means positive.
Chad, do you think he's gonna end up dead?
Perhaps to appear more trustworthy, as Sam became rich, he would promote himself as the resourceful billionaire, choosing to drive an average Toyota instead of a typical supercar. But in reality, he would own a $30 million mansion in the Bahamas. Regardless.
So okay, he does live a lavish lifestyle, he just doesn't show it all the time, he doesn't flex. Myron's the same way, multi-millionaire, and he drives a fucking like 02 Honda. And no one in the chat was telling me what I should bring up on Fresh Fit After Hours tonight with Salim.
Many social media influencers would later buy into Sam's humble brand image, and many promoted his companies.
Okay, the guy you see next to me is the most generous billionaire in the world, and I found him.
Hi, my name is Sam.
While trading at Jane Street, Sam would
Hey, my name is Sam.
make a few friends. One of these was Caroline Ellison. She and Sam would begin dating. Back in 2017, Caroline wasn't really sure what to do for a career. Sam suggested working at his new company, Alameda Research. She didn't mean to get into trading, but Caroline thought that she...
Hey, Nico, again, another fucking 50 push-ups or you are a Jew. Well, there's nothing wrong with being Jewish, so I don't know why you're saying that. Message me on Nico Lemke. Well, I guess I'm Jewish, bro, because I ain't doing no... I did a big-ass workout today. I hit chest today. I ain't doing no 50 push-ups, but thanks for the 50.
Might as well give it a go. And with that, someone with little to no experience would quickly be on her way to becoming the CEO of what would become a multi-billion-dollar operation. According to Fortune, Alameda Research, quote, was run by a gang of kids in the Bahamas, end quote. Many of the staff were Sam's ex-co-workers from the trading firm Jane Street, and others were from MIT. Sam had an inner circle of 10 people who were all housemates. They partied together and had been involved in romantic relations with each other. This group, of course, included the inexperienced CEO, Caroline, who would publicly praise amphetamine drugs on her Twitter. On her Tumblr, Caroline would state that the only acceptable polyamorous relationship should be in the form of a hierarchy. People should know where they fall within the ranking, and there should be vicious power struggles between the higher ranks. I have no comment. Despite issues behind the scenes, in 2019, Sam would start his next major project, FTX. FTX was a cryptocurrency derivatives exchange. For those not familiar, an exchange is basically a place to store and trade different cryptocurrencies and tokens, for a fee, of course. The firm would also offer discounts to clients who stored their money in a token called FTT. The FTT token was made by FTX, and it was also the token that blew up this entire mess, but we'll get to that shortly. The group of young misfits kept high-level management in the dark about what they were actually doing. One former FTX employee told Forbes that the group was, quote, kind of a little clique, just a bunch of degenerate kids at the end of the day.
And they were all fucking each other in a house in the Bahamas, right? They had like a 10-person relationship.
End quote. So what did Alameda Research do? Well, essentially, they were a crypto hedge fund of sorts. They carried out trades, matched buyers and sellers, and would give investors a supposed return. An alleged 2019 promotional document raises some eyebrows. To get people in the door, Alameda promised 15% annualized fixed-rate returns with no downside. If you watch my episode on Luna, you would know that that's an impossibly good offer. As later reported by the Wall Street Journal, the firm would use customer deposits as loans for trading. Alameda Research would later receive $10 billion in FTX customer funds. FTX, of course, was also owned by Sam. Gambling and investing with customer funds without their knowledge is a clear violation in traditional finance.
$10 billion in customer funds were transferred to Alameda. Now, both the Wall Street Journal and Reuters are reporting that billions of dollars was being used on Alameda. So billions of dollars in FTX customer money is being traded on the Alameda, through their trading house. And so that's especially concerning. I mean, you can't take customer funds without the consent. And what's especially bad about it, Brian, is that it's a clear violation of FTX's own guidelines.
FTX and the Alameda offices are located in the Bahamas, just steps apart from each other in a co-working compound.
Now they're all in Argentina.
What do we know about the use of customer funds from here to over here? Because that is spectacularly illegal.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't happen on Wall Street. That is a clear violation of security.
Oh, we're not in Wall Street. We're in the Bahamas.
We're in the Bahamas.
And to make things worse, some of the things that Caroline said in interviews weren't too encouraging.
Yeah, absolutely could pull it off without my math degree. Use very little math. Use a lot of elementary school math.
That's... Bro, you're a billionaire fucking that? Queen? She's beautiful. What? Chad, who does she look like?
Being comfortable with risk is...
She has like an inverted chin. She looks like... She looks like Leafy is here.
It's very important. We tend not to have things like...
Bro, she looks like an ant. How, bro, you can't buy a badder bitch with that much money.
Stop losses. I think those aren't necessarily a great risk management tool. I'm trying to think of a good example of a trade where I've lost a ton of money. Well, I don't know. I probably don't want to go into specifics too much with that.
Sam stated that he started FTX because he saw that most other
Bro, you said you would?
crypto platforms only managed to cater to inexperienced retail investors. FTX, on the other hand, would offer more advanced financial products, like features and options trading for crypto, or tokenized stocks that track the value of real companies, like Tesla. People either really liked the idea, or really trusted Sam, because he managed to raise $2 billion from various hedge funds and investment banks, including BlackRock. How he managed to pull this off, I'm not entirely sure.
No, I don't want to spread anti-Semitism, but Sam Bankman, is he Mazel Tov?
But supposedly smart people thought of him as a genius. In fact, according to a blog post from venture capital giant Sequoia Capital, Sam was playing the video game League of Legends while on a call to discuss a $210 million investment.
That's some shit Destiny would do.
Upon seeing this, someone from the firm typed, quote, "I love this founder," in a chat box during the meeting. After the call, Sequoia gave Sam the $210 million. Little did they know, they would never see this money again. According to CoinDesk, Current and former FTX and Alameda employees claimed that the operations were full of conflicts of interest, nepotism, and a lack of oversight. Here's a quote. Gary, Nishad, and Sam control the code, the exchange's matching engine and funds. If they move them around or input their own numbers, I'm not sure who would notice. End quote. Nishad's girlfriend, Claire, who used to live with...
I don't want to spread anti-Semitism. I just did a podcast with Leah Heilpern, the girl who did that iconic interview with Andrew Tate, and we were talking about how Jews don't actually run the world, and it's just but why is it that they have a connection with the Epsteins, and that the more these conspiracies get exposed, it's always a fucking... Every time. Epstein was Jewish too, right? I hate these I really don't want to... Nah, it's just a coincidence, chat. It's just... Shut up.
Sam was hired and immediately promoted to head of HR. This meant that she could, and often did, fire anyone who didn't agree with Sam. Other employees claimed that Sam was the ringleader. Quote, Sam wanted to take riskier decisions than what others would take. Sam ran everything. We trusted him and believed him. But regardless, for now, crypto was rising like no tomorrow, and business was going great for Sam.
So I'd encourage everybody to go.
No, W Jews. It's just a weird coincidence.
Go out there and look at, let's call it the top 30 or so cryptocurrencies by market cap.
What's up? I'm getting into crypto.
With FTX, you in?
In July 2021, it was reported that FTX was averaging $10 billion a day in trading volume across its 1 million users. By this stage, FTX had a UC Berkeley stadium named after them, an advertising partnership with the Golden State Warriors, and the Mercedes F1 team. They even had an NBA stadium in Miami named after them. FTX was involved in every corner of the crypto space.
You recognize any of these names? Not really.
As FTX grew, it became a household name. Promotional material included stars like Tom Brady, Stephen Curry, Naomi Osaka, and Larry David. And according to NBC, these stars received equity
Larry David? No, I'm playing.
in Sam's company in return. In fact, it's reported that Tom Brady put his $650 million fortune into FTX. It's worth noting that this whole time, FTX had no board of directors, just Sam.
This guy was famous?
Another employee, and a lawyer. FTX even became involved geopolitically, being a partner of the World Economic Forum.
Whoa!
Allah Akbar!
I didn't know this. What?
Lawyer. FTX even became involved geopolitically, being a partner of the World Economic Forum.
What?
Bomboka!
This shit proves the deep state. I don't understand how all the liberals on YouTube are just completely ignoring the story. How does this not prove the red pill idea that they're trying to push a liberal woke agenda to make us dumber, and it's an active agenda from the elites, not because they give a fuck about gender neutrality or trans people or BLM, but they're pushing woke ideas so that they keep us all stupid, weak, and easy to manipulate while they make all the money pushing the globalist agenda, the World Economic Forum. Why did nobody tell me this, chat?
They also built the infrastructure to supply funds to Ukraine, basically converting cryptocurrency donations into fiat currency for deposit at the National Bank of Ukraine. At this stage, Sam became knee-deep in politics.
Oh! What the?
Bomboka!
What the? It's a conspiracy theory until 30 days goes by. Bro, I've been saying that Bill Clinton's been eating kids on an island. Look at him next to Bankman, man. All connected with the Epsteins. It's a secret society that works together to push woke ideologies on the weak people so that we have one giant government that controls the whole world. They're going to control all the currency. They're going to make us have phones dialed up to how much carbon we emit. They want us to be godless and stupid. This is what they're pushing. Thanks for the 5, Hung Wizard. Google FTX Ukraine, please. We're watching this video.
Soon, he would be worth $26 billion.
Oh, and he's wearing the Ukraine little what?
He donated $5 million to Joe Biden in 2020 alone.
What?
And $50 million to politicians ahead of the 2022 midterm elections. But there's a hidden detail to the story. A lesser-known player within FTX was Ryan Salame. He donated $23 million to Republican politicians to also gain political leverage for FTX. Left or right isn't the point here. The main issue is that this company was buying political influence and nobody was paying attention. On the 16th of November 2022, the United States New York Fed and 12 banks, including Citigroup and Wells Fargo, announced that they're testing digital US dollar crypto tokens. So after years of chatter, central bank digital currencies are looking to be a part of the next financial system for the United States, and FTX wanted to be at the center of it. As Sam's empire grew, someone was watching closer than most. His name was Changpeng Zhao, aka
Me! With a hoodie and glasses and 50.
CZ, and he was the CEO of Binance, FTX's biggest competitor. A single tweet from this man would start a chain reaction.
You know that guy who goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
That would collapse Sam's empire. But we'll get to that. For Sam, everything would start to change in the second half of 2022. As inflation was beginning to rise, the US Federal Reserve lifted interest rates. Higher rates mean more expensive loans and a more cautious economy. For this reason, risk assets took a dive, and the premier among them was cryptocurrencies. As crypto firms began to blow up and go under, Sam became the man to bail them out. He could then buy the crypto off their books at record discounts. And this wasn't risky, because after all, Alameda Research had plenty of capital to spare. Or so everyone thought. Behind the scenes, Sam and his friends at Alameda were making huge losses from bad trades and these bailouts.
Meanwhile, guys, as crypto lenders continue to collapse along with prices, one key figure we've talked about has emerged to help stabilize the ecosystem. That is Sam Bankman-Fried, founder and CEO of crypto exchange FTX.
Bankman-Fried's company provided a loan made up of crypto and cash. It was worth about $500 million. Voyager only drew on about $75 million worth of that total. Legal analysts, though, are telling me it's unlikely Alameda will recoup that equity and credit line. That money may be wiped out in Voyager's restructuring.
Seeking to prop up Alameda, Sam secretly transferred at least $4 billion worth of FTX consumer funds. Publicly, he was stating that all of these funds were being moved around within the FTX company. Quote, heads up, rotating a few FTX wallets today, mostly non-circulating. We do this periodically, might have a few more coming, won't have any effect. People tracking these wallets were suspicious, and they had a right to be. Sam was lying. This trade wasn't routine, it was the largest transfer of tokens on an exchange ever. And the recipient wallet wasn't one within FTX, but another wallet that was at Alameda. According to Reuters, Sam did not tell other FTX executives about the move to prop up Alameda. He was afraid that it could leak. Meanwhile, Caroline accidentally said on a call that FTX used customer money to help Alameda meet its liabilities. The 27-year-old CEO just admitted to potentially criminal activity and could now be up for a lengthy jail sentence. So a key point to note is that these funds given to Alameda weren't in dollars, but $4 billion worth of FTX's own tokens, FTT. And herein lies one of the biggest issues with Sam's crypto empire. FTT was essentially a made-up token by Sam and his friends. Here's the problem. Say you had a great idea and were looking for an investment. Sam could say, here's $5 million, but it's not dollars. It's an FTT. Frankly, he was using money that didn't exist to buy things. As Corey Clipston, CEO of the investment platform Swan Bitcoin, puts it, quote, it's fascinating to see that the majority of net equity in the Alameda business is actually FTX's own centrally controlled and printed out of thin air token.
Well, basically doing what the Federal Reserve does, just making up money.
On November 2nd, Sam's worst fears were realized when behind-the-scenes information about Alameda finally leaked. A report by the news outlet CoinDesk detailed a very unhealthy balance sheet that allegedly showed that much of Alameda's $14.6 billion in assets were held in FTT, the coin made up by Sam and his friends. In essence, Sam created a coin, artificially attributed value to it, and then used it as collateral to finance his projects. It was very, very shady. For Sam, this was never a problem as long as the coin went up in value. But things were different now. The crypto market was sliding, and as this happened, much of Alameda's books became essentially illiquid. Questions about the real financial stability of FTX began swirling. It became the perfect opportunity for Sam's main rival, CZ, to step in. Sam and CZ's relationship started 6 months after the launch of FTX. CZ bought 20% of the exchange for about $100 million. Sam would later buy back the stock for $2 billion. This sum was paid to Binance, in part, by FTX's own token, FTT. Meanwhile, CZ was bitter because behind closed doors, Sam had been lobbying for the creation of a brokerage-like licensing system for decentralized finance. And who would lose out the most from this arrangement? Almost all other exchanges, especially Binance, FTX's main rival. And this is where things get a bit crazy, because interestingly, it's reported that the head of the SEC, Gary Gensler, and Caroline's dad, Glenn Ellison, both worked at MIT as professors. At MIT, Caroline's dad was the former boss of the head of the SEC. An alleged leaked email shows that the SEC was going to give FTX, quote, no action relief, Basically, this means we know that you're breaking the rules, but we'll look the other way. If these reports are true, we could be looking at genuine corruption within the US government.
Wow. Is it not insane to you that this information's out there? And just all the commentary channel, all the streamers, all the liberal streamers on the mainstream platforms are not talking about this. What are they talking about? Who fucked who? Did she suck your dick? No, that's problematic. That's gaslighting. You're manipulating me. No, if you put it in a way, she's manipulating. Shut the fuck up. Look what's happening. And also look at this bitch. Look at her. Look at her. You got $1 billion. You're fucking that. She looks, what movie is that? She looks like the ant from A Bug's Life. You're $1 billion, you're funneling and money laundering all this to the government, you're gonna risk it all and then go out fucking a blue ant from A Bug's Life? Do better, Sam Bankman.
Genuine corruption within the US government. As FTX grew, CZ viewed them as a genuine competitor. He now had $2 billion worth of FTT tokens. If he wanted, he could bring down the House of Cards. So he did, and the leaked CoinDesk report was the perfect excuse to do that. What set in motion the disaster was a simple tweet. It's November 6th, and CZ comes out publicly stating that Binance will dump the $2 billion worth of FTT that they got from that early FTX stake. Now, FTT wasn't heavily traded, so dumping all of this on the open market at the same time would have mammoth consequences.
So FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried took to Twitter this morning to clear something up. He said that a competitor is trying to attack the company with rumors. He then says in this...
It's fine. Assets are fine. You know that meme where everything's burning and falling apart? FTX is fine. Assets are fine. Emery Tate says she looks like the girl with the glasses in Recess. Yeah. Mrs. Richard, Sam Bankman money laundered to the Democratic government to push a woke agenda and also get really rich and be in a polyamorous relationship.
Same tweet, FTX is fine, assets are fine. Over the weekend, speculation rose about the solvency of FTX. This came after a CoinDesk report revealed Alameda Research's balance sheet is full of FTX's native token, FTT. So Binance CEO CZ got in on the actions. He said that he would be liquidating the exchange's FTT tokens on its books, and there was a little bit of back and forth with Alameda's CEO. Adam, I'm going to kick this off to you first. I was gone for a week, and what a story to come back to. Maybe you could talk us through what is going on.
The tweet shook the crypto world, and money began bleeding out of FTX, and fast. In a correspondence with staff, a presumably panicked Sam said that the firm saw a, quote, giant withdrawal surge, as many users rushed to withdraw $6 billion in crypto tokens from FTX in just 72 hours. Sam would remain confident, stating, quote, we're chugging along. Obviously, Binance is trying to go after us. So be it, end quote. The FTT token's price collapsed 80% over the next 2 days. This resulted in FTX's reserves falling. FTX didn't even have the funds to pay out all of these withdrawals.
So did they use customer funds?
They had $9 billion in liability and only $900 million in liquid assets.
Oh my God, Fresh is calling. Should I pick up? Fine, I'll pick up. Yeah, I'm streaming. We're talking about the FTX scandal. We're learning about what's happening with the government and the new world order.
Nigga, are you coming?
Yeah, you said 10 o'clock. Yo! You said Myron told me 10.
You told me 10?
Yeah.
Nick.
Yo, go to Myron right now. Myron said 10.
Alright, sorry now.
What happened? You just gonna start?
No, I just froze like what Aiden does.
Wait, so what? So are you still doing it or what?
You told him 10? Huh?
You told me 10.
Yeah, I told him 10, but I didn't know. Alright, we got done early. Alright, so yeah, I guess 9:45, nigga.
Salim's coming. I told Salim 10. Should I tell him earlier?
Yeah.
All right, what's up? I'm pulling up later. Say what up to the stream. Say what up to Rumble.
Yo, what up? Rumble, hey, what's like Sam? Alright, bro.
All right.
That's only 10% covered. To stop a further sell-off, Caroline of Alameda offered Binance a deal. Alameda would purchase all the FTT that Binance were dumping on the open market, but CZ, Binance's CEO, answered by stating that they, quote, won't support people who lobby against other industry players behind their backs. Next, more news would come out that would shock everybody again. Sam called CZ begging for help. An agreement was made for Binance to buy FTX. So to go from saying that assets are completely fine to a complete 180 and selling his company in a single day, things needed to be very bleak. While the deal was labeled as a strategic acquisition,
1, 2, 3.
CZ went into PR mode, stating that, quote, FTX was in trouble. We bought them to save them. He may have said that, but he knew perfectly well that dumping all of this FTT would destroy Sam's empire. Buying up all of his assets at a steep discount would be a great way to consolidate power. But as a side, Binance were by no means clean themselves. The US Justice Department is investigating Binance. Allegations include money laundering and criminal sanction violations. Reportedly, Binance had helped Iranian firms trade $8 billion since 2018, despite US sanctions. For a while, this looked like one of the most cutthroat business moves in recent times. Binance was able to destroy and acquire its main competitor. However, only 2 days later, Binance made another announcement, and this would rock the crypto world once again. They were no longer pursuing the deal, and they weren't going to help FTX. So what was the reason for the major...
So is Binance based? Are they the good guys?
U-turn? Once Binance investigated FTX's books, they found a disaster. The company had a far bigger gap between assets and liabilities than they expected. Reports suggest an $8 billion shortfall. With this news, even some employees at FTX were shocked. Executives had been left in the dark about the true state of affairs. The kids in the Bahamas were playing with risk, and they were losing big without telling anyone. On top of this, the US Justice Department began to investigate.
Yo, this is what TikTok is doing, man. They banned me on TikTok, and they put pedophile, globalist, World Economic Forum, money laundering, fake woke, Ethan Decline looking bots on there.
They were losing big without telling anyone.
Money laundering dances.
On top of this, the US Justice Department began to investigate. This was over the $10 billion of customer FTX funds that were given as loans to Alameda. So, with no liquidity and no plan B, FTX stopped withdrawals. Whispers of bankruptcy filled the digital spaces of Twitter. On the 11th of November, Sam resigns and tweets that FTX and Alameda
FTX is fine, everything's fine,
are filing for bankruptcy. This news sent crypto markets crashing. No corner of the market was left unscathed.
Over $150 billion. In 3 days, that's how much the world's 15 largest cryptocurrencies lost in market value. It's because of the crypto exchange platform FTX.
Orderly is difficult when you have an entity that has 130 entities across the globe really looking to file for bankruptcy and receive whatever assets they can to make some investors partly whole again. However, the value of a lot of their holdings obviously have fallen dramatically. You have FTX Trading, the FTX US entity, Alameda Research, which is Sam Bankman-Fried's trading shop, and again, like I said, the 130 additional companies.
He apologizes and took full responsibility, but people were understandably still extremely angry. And with that, FTX, which was once valued at $32 billion earlier this year with investors including SoftBank and BlackRock, was no more.
Wait. It was tied with BlackRock too?
$32 billion earlier this year with investors including SoftBank and BlackRock.
This is what I'm saying. They all work together. When you talk about the elites, when you talk about the globalist agenda, it's the Democratic Party. It's the people who own these companies behind the scenes who push a woke agenda and invest in different places and have woke scores. It's people like this behind the scenes who probably touched a kid and now does whatever the woke works for that World Economic Forum. It's one giant ring of people who are trying to control us as much as possible. I'm glad that when I talk about it before, I just sound like a crazy conspiracy theorist, but this is really unraveling in front of our faces. This is what's going on.
Was no more. Another mystery soon came to light as it was discovered that $1 billion worth of customers' cryptocurrency had vanished from FTX.
Reuters is also reporting that $1 to $2 billion of that customer money that was transferred to that trading house Alameda is just missing. They just don't know where it is. So that's a huge concern.
And to make matters worse, whatever money remained in the FTX accounts was hacked and stolen. Alarmed consumers began chattering on social media that cryptocurrency was disappearing from their accounts and their balance was now reading zero.
Chad, who took an L? I had no money involved in FTX. Did anyone take a fat L like that?
Over $500 million in cryptocurrency was siphoned. Online blockchain detectives.
This is why Leia said, and the podcast is going to drop soon, all the TikTokers, that's going to be great clips. That was one of the best podcasts I ever did, best interviews I've ever had. She says just invest in Bitcoin. Ethereum is some World Economic Forum crypto that they're trying to make to compete with Bitcoin. That's why I have an equal amount of money in both. I have some globalist money, but I have a lot of Bitcoin as well, and it's really low right now. And I'm dumb. I don't know a lot, but I know it's the lowest it's been in over 2 years right now, or at least a year. I think Bitcoin's at like 16,000 and it peaked at 68,000 last year. But now's a good time. It's decentralized. No globalist money is involved in it. It's the only crypto that really has a chance to beat the globalist economy, to beat all the globalist currencies. That's what I've heard from people who are really into crypto, and it's low right now. And I'm never gonna promote a crypto scam. I'm never gonna try to scam you. The only thing that I sell is my course, which is $50, the creativity kit. I have 3 calls. I talk to you. It's a really clear exchange. I'm never going to do a crypto scam. And it's tempting to do some gambling stuff. I'm not going to lie. WRL, if I do some gambling, I can make a bag off that. But maybe it's better to just do healthy business and not really indulge in any of that. I understand that it's your decision to do what you want to do, but seeing the way a lot of these businesses end up, maybe it's better if I just stay out of that completely.
And now watching closely. So far, the hacker has moved into Ethereum, making them one of the largest holders in the world. Countless companies are affected. Sequoia Capital, one of the biggest FTX backers, announced that their stake was essentially worthless and wrote it off their books. So I guess next time, when they take an investment call with a guy playing League of Legends, they may think twice. Galois Capital, a hedge fund whose founder is credited with spotting the collapse of Luna, still had, quote, half of our capital stuck on FTX. At the time of implosion, BlockFi had to stop withdrawals and are now filing for bankruptcy. A teacher's pension fund in Canada invested almost $100 million into FTX, so now innocent people who had nothing to do with crypto could see a dent in their retirement. FTX bankruptcy files show 134 affiliate companies across the world. Estimates say that liabilities could be up to $50 billion. For a sense of scale, Enron's liabilities were $23 billion. Fittingly, FTX's new CEO is the former Enron bankruptcy lawyer. The White House would comment on the situation, calling for more regulation. As for Sam, according to reports, he lost all of his wealth and has a negative net worth. This is
what's going to happen to him, chat? I want to see your predictions.
Because he has more debt than equity in all of his companies and investments. Adding the involvement of the Department of Justice in the case, who knows how much the damages would be. Sam is currently under police surveillance in the Bahamas. On November 16th, Sam tweeted that he was going to meet regulators to try and repay customers. Comments under the tweet could be summarized as basically, "What are you doing? You should be in jail." Meanwhile, Bloomberg reports that US and Bahamian authorities are in talks to bring Sam back to the US for questioning. This will be
what's going to happen if they arrest him?
A test of his political donation.
Oh, he's chat saying he's going to off himself. The camera's going to turn off in the prison cell.
Money, for sure. So naturally, there's unconfirmed rumors at this point. I'm going to still mention them, but take the following with a grain of salt. The main theory is that the hack was an inside job. Funds were stolen through a secret backdoor that Sam could siphon without detection. When Reuters asked about the missing funds, Sam simply responded with 3 question marks. As for crypto as a whole, there's now a whole lot of risk and uncertainty. It's going to take a while to see which companies were dangerously tied up with FTX.
A lot of firms seem like they were tied up somehow with FTX.
Right now, we're just going to have to wait and see what happens with the market and what arrests are being made. Will there now be regulation? What happened to the missing funds? We just don't know at this point. It's a wild story that's still unfolding.
FTX, generated an FTT token. If you trade your own token on your own exchange with wash trading, with leverage, you can park the price at any number you want. So you want to make $1 billion, you jack the price by $3 by wash trading with yourself. Then you generate $1 billion of collateral. Then you look for a bank that'll loan you money against the collateral. And of course, nobody in their right mind should be loaning money against an air token that you manipulated yourself. But of course, Sam happened to be the CEO of a bank that made loans. So he applied for a loan from his own bank and he granted it to himself. And then he took real assets like Bitcoin from his honest customers. And then he rehypothecated them, traded them, lost them. And so this is just an egregious ethical lapse and it can't go on.
So what can we learn here? Well, if you're an investor, only put in what you're willing to lose.
They didn't mention in this video how he was one of the biggest donors of all time to the Democratic Party. He was funding Biden's campaign.
This story also shows that in a bull market with cheap money, anything goes. Even the smartest experts become drunk with the idea of making millions. They're willing to throw hundreds of millions of dollars to a 30-year-old and his polyamorous friends, some of whom had next to no experience. Really, with this whole thing, it just seems like no one knows what they're doing. Although, there might be a deeper aspect at play here in the depths of US politics. Although we can draw nothing conclusive, at the very least, the political lobbying and possible corruption is concerning. So what do you guys think about all of this? Feel free to discuss below. The whole thing reminds me of 2008. Firms making up financial products, taking on huge risk, and passing it to others.
It's like 2008 mixed with Epstein.
It's crazy because cryptocurrency was supposed to stop this, but I guess where there's money to be made, you always get bad actors. I just finished the documentary on the 2008 crisis, what happened, and how it still affects all of us today. So really, I can't help but see the parallels. I'll leave a link to that and my other documentaries on fraud and scams.
Alright, cool.